what do you got here? You got the forensic ballistic testing machine. You've just unboxed it. It'll actually come just like it is. It'll just be all saran wrapped up and bubble wrapped and foamed and in a box. You'll cut the top of the box off, open it, you lift this completely straight out of the box. We recommend setting it on a table at that point, like so. We have unwrapped each one of these components and I've just set it here so you know kind of the way it looks like when it comes into the box. Each one of these components will be individually wrapped. Obviously, you're past that point if you're watching this video. But let's go through on what you'll get. You'll actually have two T-handles. One is a 5/32, one's the 3/16. You'll have a short, stubby 3/16 Allen wrench, and we'll get to that when we get to the pistol box. You will have your instruction manual, which will explain how to use your machine completely, along with this video. As you notice, on this machine, you have the full machine. It's all assembled. You will have your cam lever locks put on there, and the cam lever locks in the back. The one thing you'll notice, you're missing your upright adjustment rods. Well, those are actually still here. They're located right there. So at this point in time, you have completely unboxed it. You have sat it onto the bench. You have unwrapped all the individual components, and this is what you're looking at. So now let's go to setting this up, getting it ready to be functional. The first thing you're going to want to do is get these upright adjustments to the appropriate location. So we recommend go ahead and pull these cam lever locks. They do cam lever lock. Now's a good time to mention how they work. You pull them out and you just rotate them and they pop back in. Now you can loosen, tighten and loosen at that point. If you need them repositioned on your bench, you run them that way and there you go. It is recommended, you have one or two options to do this. You slide this to this side of the bench and you spin this on and off. That is about the easiest way. Your other option is with the supplied T-handle. Using the supplied 5/32 T-handle, you do not want to back that screw off. That screw is mounted in there with the spring onto that geared arbor, but what you want to do is release the cam on this and then back this out. As you turn this, you want to make sure that arbor back there turns, but you just back it on out. And there you go. At that point, you'll use your 3/16 T-handle and you need to disconnect your bottom shoulder bolt. Go ahead and loosen it. That's all you have to do is loosen it, back it off about a thread or two. At the back here, you have a cap that you will need to remove. You're going to remove the black cap. You're just going to release that with the 3/16 T-handle. And pop the cap off. Once you got that off, you can slide your adjustment rod out. At that point, you position it vertical. You will need to pre-stage your hardware, your T-nut. It really doesn't matter if your T-nut goes this way or that way, but you do need it pushed out, backed off enough so you can just get it inside your T-slot here. So pushing this forward, you're going to rotate that around. First thing you want to do is put that onto the slot up here. As long as that's up on the slot up there, you can turn your T-nut around and engage it into your T-slot. At that point, you can slide it right in. Please keep in mind, you have a nylon washer behind the adjuster rod. You have a big nylon washer down below, small nylon washer on the outside of your shoulder bolt, and then your other nylon washer goes right there. And that's how the proper assembly. You want to check that. Once you verified placement and your washers are right, go ahead and crank down your shoulder bolt. At this point, I put my shoulder bolt, so this is about straight up and down, to my front guide rod. Now you can loosen this, back it off, slide it up till it touches. Now you do not want this tight because as this comes up, it does need some angle adjustment. So back it off, give it just a little bit of room, and lock it down. And I give it just about that much room. Now it doesn't come out, but it keeps it between those two adjustment rods. You got your nylon washers on both sides of your adjustment rods. Now you can place back on your cam lever lock. Once again, if you hit the table, you just get it started. can put your T-handle on here. Oh, this one's the 3/16. Put it on there, disengage your cam, and just spin her on. Your other option is slide it off the table and spin it on for full lock. Once you got that side on and it loosens, you have a little movement, feels good. The bottom nut is snug, the top two are snug. You're good to go. Now you're ready to do the other side. 3/16 T-handle. You need to remove the cap and slide this rod out and assemble it in the same manner. Okay, we got the upright adjustment rods on. Now's a good time to mention, once again, those are just guards, and you can adjust them so these look appropriate in both ways. Okay? And you just need a little slop so when this comes up at an angle and back down, it has enough movement. Okay? Now's a good time to mention, if you are in a situation where your table is smaller than your machine and you want these to run down, that's perfectly fine. These are designed where you can actually reverse this hardware and run this adjustment rod down so it's out of your way. You can also move this forward on your bench and cut slots through the wood and run them down. This way it can still adjust forward and back, but your rods are going down out of the way. We ship them in our intended purpose to go up, because this way, regardless of how they set, you have full forward and back adjustment on your bench to get that barrel right into that bullet tank or water trap into the point of your trying to impact. So we feel going up gives you the maximum adjustability, but at any point you want to put them down below, they are designed to also do that. Alright, now's a good time to mention we have this workbench, work table. This has elevation adjustment. It will crank down and it'll crank up. It is sold separately, and there is some assembly required on the workbench. Okay? This sells with casters or padded feet, and you can put on whichever one you want. You can also lock the bench permanently. But this gives you your elevation adjustment so you can get that barrel pointed into the water tank or bullet trap right where you want it. There will be instructions on how to assemble that bench, and if you need a video on how to assemble that bench, that would be separate. On the front of the machine here, we have our hold down brackets. You'll need to loosen them up. It will come pre-tightened, typically forward here, because we had our adjustment rod located right here. So you'll loosen them up, and you slide these, and this is where you're going to mount, bolt, or even clamp it to your shooting bench. We recommend putting the brackets right here around bearing position. This also allows you, once it's mounted down securely, this allows you this much adjustment forward and this much adjustment back. If you put these to the outside, you will not be able to slide this machine front to back on this workbench. But if you mount these more in center here, and we will supply hardware, so you just mark that with a pencil, drill a hole through your table or bench, and we will supply you a wood lag to mount that down permanently. If you're on a steel bench, you would want to use a bolt and nut with some washers. But we're going to supply a wood lag so you can mount that to a wood bench or a wood countertop like what's on our toolbox over here. This time, it's also good to mention that this machine does utilize a tilt function. Obviously this machine is not locked down, so tilting it, I will have to hold the bottom as I tilt it up, but it has this tilt function, and I'm not going to go very far at this point. But the tilt part of the frame, this lower frame, is removable. So if you're wanting a machine that is just flat and absorbs the recoil, and you do not want the tilt function, you can actually unmount these two triangle brackets from each side and that spindle bolt, and you can actually remove that whole lower, and you can mount this straight to a table. You can actually slide this angle bracket onto this T-nut, and you can mount this table. You can mount this machine right to the bench. But it comes complete with the tilt adjustment. If you don't want the tilt adjustment, you can remove the bottom section. It was designed to do that. to our components and features of the machine. Now that we got the uprights on and we've gone over a little bit of the machine, let's go over some of the components. Here's your rear carriage plate for rifles. Comes with your rear trigger assembly, your pistol box. This is a shotgun adapter, and your front rifle assembly. Let's pull these off the machine. Obviously, you've already handled them a little bit because you did unwrap them. But that is what we call the shotgun adapter. This is our pistol box. It's a standalone, full pistol box. And coming around here, you have your front rifle carriage with your 4 cam lever locks. These cam lever locks, they function the same way as the side cam lever locks. So you can lift them and turn them and readjust them, and they loosen and tighten right there. You have full adjustability on each one of your carriage plates, and then you have your pistol box. We will go over each one of these components and all the names of all the features on each one of these as we move forward. I don't want to string this video out too long and go over all the names and features and then later on go over it again. So as we touch on each one of these carriage plates, we will discuss what you're looking at on each carriage plate. For time and interest, I believe your most interest right now would probably be handguns. There's a lot of handguns confiscated or need tested, and so we're going to go straight to handguns. And what that looks like is we're going to go ahead and remove these 4 cam lever locks located on this front carriage plate. You just go ahead and spin them off. And they also function like the outer cam lever locks. They have a center bolt, a spring, and it's cammed. So you could use a screwdriver, uncam it and back it off that way. But as you see, I just backed it off the screws. So you have a set of washers there as well. So pull your cam lever lock and your washers, and then you can actually pull the whole front carriage plate right off the spuds. At that point, I'm going to put this away in the cabinet. We're going to go to the pistol box. I'm going to take the whole pistol assembly, unwind the remote, here we go, slide it on the studs, both sides, and just gently drop it in. Washers, and your cam bolts. All right. As you notice, this front carriage plate has an ability to adjust full length, breadth to width on this setup. And obviously your goal is to keep that barrel into the tank. So you're going to want that adjusted full forward. And it is okay to mount it all the way forward. Now you can lock her down. There you go. At that point, you have the 4 cam lever locks on the side for your box adjustment, your trigger bar adjustment, your safety V-clamp adjustment,